Takadosh Boker Or Masechet Bava Metzia Daf Pegim Lamud Aleph 83a. Says the Gemara, Vafilu bimkom midron. Even if you're going to tell me that we're talking about a slope, Nami also is still a question on a shomer chinam in a shavua. That's if there's no proof. But if there was a proof, which means that he could bring witnesses, then he has to bring a proof. He has to bring the witnesses and then become patur. The Tana was going to write, right? En roeh. What does that mean? When a person comes and he gives his friend a chamor to watch over, and then it dies or breaks or whatever, en roeh, there's nobody that's saying, then it's shavua Hashem Tiv Shneim. But if there is roeh, if there's witnesses, he has to bring a raya, then he becomes patur. Meaning, why do you need a shavua? Bring witnesses that he was not negligent. The Gemara. So says the Gemara, Rabbi Barava Amar, Rabbi Barava comes and he says the name of Yochanan, Shavua zo is a takanat chachamim. Sheimi ata omer kem, if you're not going to say so, en lecha adam ma'avir chavir chaviro b'makom b'makom. Right, he says, you're not going to have somebody that's going to come and be ma'avir a barrel from one place to another place. Yeah? From one place to another place. He says, how is he going to swear? Amar Rava says, Shavua shelo b'chavana shvatiyah. He has to swear that he didn't break it b'chavana. That's the Shavua. Meaning they came and they made a special takanat chachamim, because if not, right, nobody would want to come and start to, imagine, I have to transport your things from one place that I'm never going to want to do it. Why? We know very, very well, many times you come and you transport one thing to another, things break. So you'll never want to do it. So, okay, no, you can do it. But swear. But what are you swearing? You didn't break it b'chavana. Because if not, you know how it is. Boom. No, I'm sorry, it broke. No, swear that you didn't break it b'chavana. Okay? Ve'ata Rabbi Yehuda al-Meiman, Rabbi Yehuda comes and says, Shomer chinam yishava, noseh sachar yishalem. A shomer chinam is going to swear, but a shomer sachar is going to pay. Each one is like a halacha. Rabbi Lazar al-Meiman, and therefore Rabbi Lazar is going to come to say, and Gemara Rabbi Meir. Yes, the Gemara is like Rabbi Meir, but how are they going to swear? Bishma shomer chinam. I understand shomer chinam is going to swear that he didn't do pshia, but a shomer sachar anyway has to pay. The same thing that we asked before. Anyway, he has to pay. So he says, "Vafilu shomer chinam nami," and even a shomer chinam also, hatenach bimkom midron. That is only going to be if there's a slope, but if it's not a slope, can he actually make a shavua that he didn't have negligence? And even in the place of a slope, also, it's only if there's no witnesses. But if there's a re'aya, you have to bring the witnesses, and you're going to become patur. Instead, we're going to write this when you domer and roeh shavuat Hashem. Only if there's nobody seeing, then you make a shavua. But if there is roeh, meaning there's witnesses, you have to bring the witnesses, and they're going to swear. So therefore, just like we said before, Hau Gavra, story, right? Story time. Remember, Mansour was keeping on saying that every single day. You have Hau Gavra here. There's a story. So he says, Hau Gavra chavita de chamra beristika de mechuza. It was somebody that he was passing, right? He was transporting the barrels of wine, right, of his friend in the streets of Mechuza. Utvara beziza de mechuza. And he broke it in a korah which was coming out of the wall. Meaning sometimes, there's like protrusions, something that sticks out of the wall, and it broke it with a barrel. So they came in front of Rava. Elmaleh, he says, he says, there's a lot of people there. Zilait, go bring a proof. Go bring Vipatan, you're going to become Patur. Elmaleh Rav Yosef, Bereis, or Rav Yosef's son came and said, come on, who does it call like? Like Yisi ben Yehuda. Elmaleh, yes. Like Yisi ben Yehuda, and I hold like him. Meaning, go bring me witnesses. Since there's so many people in the streets, bring me witnesses, and that's it. Sauda Gavra, there was another story. The Elmaleh lechavra that he told his friend, Zil zavini arba me'adan chamra. Go buy for me, right, with my money, 400 barrels of wine. Azal zavini, he bought it. The Sobat he came in front of him and he told him, Zin lach arba me'adan chamra utkifalu. I bought them, but they all became vinegar. What a mazal, no? Imagine, you buy 400 barrels, all of them become vinegar. So they came in front of Rava, Elmaleh, he told him, he says, no, that's weird. You're going to tell me 400 barrels of wine became vinegar? That for sure people hear about it. There's a call. Go bring a proof to me. Like he's the one that, go bring a proof at the beginning you bought it as wine. And then you're going to become patur. Who's it called? Like Yisi ben Yehuda? He says, yes, like Yisi ben Yehuda, and that's what I hold like. So at kan Ruchia ber Yosef, the Sichra Hani Didar Be'agra. So by the people that they were sabbalim. Remember, a sabbal is somebody that, he carries heavy burdens. Okay? So he comes and he says, right, ve'itvar, right, and it broke. V'shalem palga. So you have to pay half of it. My time, what's reasoning? Nafish lechad vezuta litrei. He says, right? But it's going to be katan. So he says, karov leones, karov pshia. So 1 second. In such a case, the sabal has to come, he has to pay half of the damages, right? One more time. Everyone understood what happened. What happened is that there was a sabal that he comes and he's carrying a whole bunch of things. Now, the problem is that sometimes they carry a little bit too heavy because they think that, I'm powerful enough, I could do it. But then all of a sudden, something broke. So he has to pay half of the damages. My time, what's the reasoning? Nafish lechad, right? Because it's too much in one stick to carry, right? But it's too small for 2 people to carry. So therefore, it's considered karov leonis. The karov pshia, it's like in the middle. So he comes and he says, but sabalin that they're carrying bedigla, which means that it's something which is designated for 2 people, yishalem kula. So you have to pay the entire thing because it's a pshia that only 1 person carried it. Meaning the fact that only 1 person carried it instead of 2 people, so he's negligent. He's negligent. He has to pay the full amount. The other case, it was like karola. It was like in the middle. It wasn't really honest. It was almost honest, but it's almost pshia. So it's half. So okay, pay half. But in the second case, where he's negligent, he has to pay the full amount. Yeah. Many times they take insurance, by the way, because many times it happens. You take movers. There's that. Huh? Yeah, moving companies. I mean, why? Because many times they come, they take certain things, and then it becomes a problem. So they broke the sabalima barrels of wine. So they took the clothing. So they went and they told Rav, give us the clothing. That's the din. He said yes. Meaning you have to do miflim shirat adin. So he came and gave them back the clothing. He says, we are aniyim. We're working all day. We're hungry. We don't have anything. So Elmaleh, he says, Zil have a grayu. Give them their money as well. Elmaleh, he says, what, that's a din? He says, yes. Or chot tzadikim tishmor, which means that tzadikim, you always have to go above and beyond, which means even if it's not mamash the real halacha, you guys have to do it. Miskirim, imagine, they were coming and they actually did it. Hadran lach sucheret ha'umanim. So Kalkadosh, we're starting the new Perek Shavi, the 7th chapter. Ha'socheret ha'po'alim. Pegim l'amud aleph towards the bottom. Somebody that's going to come and get workers, and he tells them to come early to work and to go late, to finish late. So you can't force him if that's not the minhag makom. If it's a place where they give to eat, they have to give them to eat. To give them something to put their bread in, they have to do it. Everything goes according to the minhag midina, meaning that it all depends upon the minhag of what people are doing. Masechet was a story of Yochanan and Matya Shamal that he told them, go get some workers. He got them, told them you're going to give them to eat. When he came to the father, he says, Beni, well, you're never going to find, you're never going to be Zechova. Right? Why? Because they're the children of Abraham to Yaakov. Until they don't come and start to work. I'm only going to give you bread, right? And keep meat and beans or whatever it is. You don't have to say that. Meaning that if you're going to come, you're going to say, okay, food, I'm going to tell you, okay, I want a steak. A steak. Everything's like you don't get a steak. So no, but it all depends on the circumstances. Says the Gemara, Pshita, it's obvious. What are we talking about? The tafalehu agraihu. What does that mean? At the beginning, he went and he added on to their reward, right? And therefore, right, Amal, they would have thought to say, Amal, he told them, the reason why I'm giving you more is because I thought they were going to come early and leave late. Meaning like this, the normal salary of a day is $100. I told them you have to come early and leave late. So instead of 9 to 5, I want you to come from 8 till 6. I said, yeah, but I told you 120. Meaning the reason why I added, meaning the reason why I was paying you more was I thought you were going to come early and leave late. So that's why I gave you what was good. Right? Kamashmalan comes teach you, they could say, says no, the reason why you're going to pay us more was because we had to do a better job, not because of more hours. But really, Be'emet, if it's 9 to 5, that's a minhag. That's it. I'm only coming 9 to 5. Amar Shakish says that Shakish Pegim Lamubet, Poel Biknisato Shelo, Bitziato Mishel Balabait. When a Poel comes into the city to get to work, that has to come on his own, he has to be mevater on the zman, which was fitting for him. But when he's leaving, it's on the balabait. That means he doesn't have to leave anything. Meaning, one way is on the worker, one way is on the balabait. Nowadays, it doesn't work. Nowadays, 9 to 5 means you're in my office at 9, you're leaving at 5. But once upon a time, one of those, whether it's the travel time there or back, one of them was on cheshbon balabait, and one of them is on cheshbon the worker. Okay? Shneimar says in the pasuk, "Tizrach Hashem yasefum v'mitam yibatzun." Yitzei adam lefalov levotzei aderev. What does that mean? Only b'zrichat hashemesh a person comes and yitzei adam levodoto, and then he continues until ha'erev, until tzedek chovim. So says the Gemara, so why don't we just say what's the minhag hamakom? So says the Gemara, Bir Chadasha, it's a new city, so we don't know what the minhag hamakom is. So says the Gemara, okay, fine. Where did they come from? So he says, people are coming from different cities, and therefore there's no minhag to know that. You could say the Malud that he says, I'm taking you like a poel from the Torah, which is basically from Zrichat Hashemesh until Tzedek Kochavim. Dara Shabi Zira, Rabbi Zira comes and he says, the Amla Tanner Yosef, Rabbi Yosef says, "Might it was meaning the pasuk Tasha Chosh V'Yilayla Botinos Kochai to Yar." We read this in the Barachin Nafshi, in the Rosh Chodesh. Tasha Chosh V'Yilayla. What does that mean? Ha'olam hazeh is considered Choshech, is Domel Layla. Botinos Kochai to Yar. That's going to be for the Yar. That's going to be the Reshaim, that they are like the wild animals in the Yar. Tizrach Hashemesh soon. Tizrach Hashemesh, that the Shemesh will come out for the tzaddikim. Yasefun is a Reshaim for the Ginam. We don't know, there's no tzaddik that doesn't have a mador according to his kavod. Somebody that's going to be mashlim is avodah until the nighttime. He found one of these shoters of the king. The kataf is ganave. He grabbed the ganav. Amali, he says, how do you know that he was a ganav? Lav kechevata mitrile. He says, what? You're not like wild animals that it's written, so Ika de Amri Ma'ikra Kamal, he says, what does that mean? That you have to be mastira tatzmam, and therefore they make their actions like nighttime, meaning the ganavim, they're always in hiding. Because that's what they do. Dilma Shakal Tzaddik, he says, okay, but maybe you took the wrong guy. Maybe you took a tzaddik and not the Rasha. Elmaleh, he says, what am I going to do? Harman Malkahu. He says, this is the mitzvot HaMelech. Amar, he says, I'm going to tell you. Go on the 4th hour in the day, which is Shat Suda, to eat. When you see people that they're coming and they're drinking wine, he's falling asleep, ask. If he's the rabbi and he's sleeping, he woke up early in order to learn Torah. If he's a worker, so he woke up early to come to do his job. And even if he's going radud, so therefore you have to ask. And if not, he's a ganav. He's a ganav. Why? Because that's why he's sleeping during the day. Why? Because during the nighttime, he was stealing. So therefore he didn't get a good sleep. So that's why he's dozing off. But that's how you know. I have a tough say, they grabbed him. They found. He says, Korea, you get it, he's going to be the shliach to do it. Which means that Rabbi Elazar Shimon, he has to do it himself. They brought Rabbi Elazar Shimon, and he used to grab the to get the ganavim. So Shalach le Rabbi Yishua ben Kulcha, Chometz ben Yain, Rasha ben Tzaddik, Matai tamoser Moshe lelokenu lariga. When are you going to come and give your nation? Meaning, okay, but you're catching the Jews. What are you doing? Shalach le, he says, no, but I'm getting rid of the thorns. He says, these are thorns. I'm getting rid of the thorns. Shalach le, he says, Yavo balakerev yichalek kotzav. He says, no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu bichvodo ve'atzmo should get rid of the thorns, not him. Yom Achal, one day, pagav koves, he found this koves. Tadi, and he called him Chometz ben Yain. He called him a Chometz ben Yain. So he says, Amar milchatziv kulahai. This guy is such a chatzuf. He's a rasha. Amar, he says, Tafsu, grab him. They grabbed him. Afterwards, he went. He says, Batre leparuke. He wanted to redeem him. He couldn't redeem him. He says, I should have watched over myself. They went and they hung the koves. So Elazar came and he started crying. They told him, Rabbi, don't be so upset about him. Him and his son, they both violated a woman, a married woman on Kippur. Meaning, what do you want? He was a rasha. What are you crying about? You were right to come in. He went and he says, Sisu b'nei me'ai, Sisu. He says, if right now this is what you guys decided this on a safek. So look what on a vadai. I know that for sure you're never going to have limam v'tolea amongst you. And still, he still wasn't miushav dato. He wasn't happy. He went and they gave him to drink to fall asleep. And they put him in a house of shaish. And it tore out the insides. They were taking out the tarbe salim of shuman. They put it outside in Tammuz and Av. But it didn't get bad. Meaning to show you that the worms did not even imagine in the middle of the summertime, and you put all the fat and everything that's inside of the stomach, and nothing, it didn't go bad, it didn't go rotten. He says, what? All shuman is also not going to be sariyach. He says, no. It's not all, any shuman is, any fats is not going to become bad. But the ktamim which are red, they do masriach. Here, nothing became was masriach. So then he went and he said, even my basar will always be happy, and therefore obviously we're going to have another story which will continue tomorrow with Hashem.